Before the book starts, Firestar and Bluestar tell the reader all about the people who randomly died in the time skip. Hazeltail, Toadstep, and Icecloud have randomly died of illness. Foxleaf has randomly died of wounds.
Also, I miss Spotted Leaf,
says Firestar. Not Sandstorm? Asks Bluestar. Oh, yeah, sure, her too. Then Cloudstar shows up and gets blood everywhere.
Can you guys pass this on to Bramblestar for me? Thanks.
Back in reality, Bramblestar is on patrol when Amberpaw falls into the water. WindClan cats materialize to bully them for it. After hearing about WindClan kittens, he starts trying to assess how many of his clanmates are going to have babies. Then he makes Dewpaw recite all the names of the cats who died in the Great Battle from the new feature in the camp, the Memories Stick, while the guys who died of green cough roll over in their graves. He tells Sandstorm to retire. Sandstorm tells him to explode. He asks Daisy if anyone's pregnant. Nobody is pregnant. Foiled again. He goes up to Lionblaze next.
Are you pregnant, Lionblaze?
Maybe later, Dad. Millie and Brightheart yell into camp that ShadowClan's been in their house. Everyone starts screaming. Anyone else think it's suspicious how Bramblestar hasn't freaked out yet? Asks Berrynose.
I'm going to talk to them,
says Bramblestar. Talking to people is bad, responds Berrynose, so his daughter pretends to be dead Hazeltail and yells at him. Bramblestar grabs all the most socially acceptable cats in the clan and takes off to bother ShadowClan.
Hate to point this out, but have you guys noticed that Blackstar is a skeleton now?
Asks Bramblestar. So what? Says Tawny Pelt. Mind your own business. Bramblestar and the skeleton agree to make their borders stinkier so that the cats don't go into each other's houses anymore. Little Cloud tries to talk to them as they leave, but Bramblestar picks up his clanmates and runs. What did you do that for? Asks everyone.
I've decided that talking to people is actually bad.
Bramblestar says that all the apprentices should go to the gathering. One's going to fall in the water, says Squirrelflight. Bramblestar eavesdrops on Thornclaw and Blossomfall whispering together until Lionblaze scolds him for it. Then he walks over to Squirrelflight and scolds her about it too. Hollyleaf, thinks Bramblestar. They're being watched, so Bramblestar makes Daisy identify the stranger. Hello, Smokey, says Daisy. Smokey skedaddles.
Where were we going? Oh yeah, gathering.
When they get there, the RiverClan warriors are all beat up, the WindClan warriors are being rude, and Blackstar is still a skeleton. He makes everyone watch his skeleton dance before they can start. Your dance is stupid, says Misty Star. Blackstar is very upset by this. Misty Star announces new kits in RiverClan, making eye contact with Bramblestar. Then Blackstar announces that there are new kits in ShadowClan, making eye contact with Bramblestar. Then one star implies someone is pregnant, making eye contact with Bramblestar. After the gathering is over, Bramblestar accidentally forgets to leave. Daisy is worried about Smokey now, so Bramblestar goes with her to Horseplace.
What if Daisy is leaving because we're so bad at having babies,
says Graystripe.
You and Millie should have some babies, responds Bramblestar.
Graystripe gets out of there. They meet up with Smokey at Horseplace and learn that Floss has died, and more importantly, that one dog in the Allegiance is named Pit.
Hi, I'm Smokey's hot young girlfriend, says Coriander. Are you the creeps who live in the woods?
Yes. They go inside the barn for some reason, and then Coriander insults them a few more times before they take off. Daisy tries to complain about the barn cats, but Bramblestar zones out and starts thinking about wife instead. Suddenly, Poseidon steals Blossomfall. They throw rocks at him until they get her back, but now everything's stormy and flooded. Mole Whisker catches a pelican. That's a WindClan pelican, says Nightcloud. She's right. That's a WindClan pelican, says Sandstorm. There is no such thing as a WindClan pelican, responds Bramblestar. You're right. There is no such thing as a WindClan pelican, says Sandstorm. Jayfeather wakes Bramblestar up in the middle of the night to show him that the gods have poisoned his crops. Everyone gets together to go fight the weather, but the sea tries to take Cherryfall this time. They all stand around beating up various puddles for a minute and then go home. The cats are sad, and wet, and hungry, and nobody wants to go live in the ocean. Bramblestar goes to sleep so that he does not have to think of wife. Then Poseidon grabs Bramblestar, so he decides that he's going to move everybody in the morning to where the water can't find them. He makes them have sleepovers until then. The apprentices have decided that this means rules don't apply to them anymore. They don't actually reach morning before the whole camp is flooded, however, and everybody has to get out of there right away.
Wow, good thing nobody's pregnant, thinks Bramblestar about this situation.
He realizes nobody is buff enough to carry Briarlight up the cliffside, so he decides to worry about that later. Purdy is slipping and falling too, so Bramblestar uses the previously established knot tying ability to make a rope to hold on to. Purdy swings around everywhere while saying things like, "Haha, I shouldn't have had that extra donut, boys." By the time they're done with that, Briarlight is 3 feet underwater and Millie has lost 7 lives to anxiety. Bramblestar grabs the 2 dead wife guys to put Briarlight, Purdy, and Jayfeather on the big memories stick and float them up to the top. Squirrelflight doggy paddles over too because she apparently understands buoyancy. After the no-wife boys and Squilf push the stick to the ground, Jayfeather and Purdy jump off, but a wave washes Squilf away and pushes Briarlight under the stick. Luckily, Jayfeather seems to have gotten CPR training after that whole flametail thing. The stick is still a casualty, which causes Jayfeather to anguish suspiciously. The cats are safe, but ThunderClan camp is now soup. Then everybody goes into tunnels to dry off. Hollyleaf, thinks Bramblestar. Leafpool discovers that the camp soup is herb-flavored, so everyone goes around trying to pick them out of puddles. The territory is just a big maze now, and nobody can smell anything, so when WindClan starts inching the border over, Poppyfrost chooses violence. Purdy feels bad about eating, so Squirrelflight tries to get her mom to retire to make him feel better. Sandstorm tells her to explode. Now that ShadowClan doesn't have scent markers either, everyone wanders into their territory too to get caught right away.
Is my sister okay? Asks Bramblestar.
Also the hot ShadowClan guys, adds Dovewing. The way they say everyone is fine makes Graystripe think that everyone is not fine. RiverClan, meanwhile, is underwater. Bramblestar decides to check on them, and Thornclaw decides to whine. RiverClan is doing boring, however, so they go home. Suddenly, there's some she-cat floating in a bathtub and screaming. They try to walk past, but the bathtub just keeps floating by them. Graystripe teaches them two-leg words, while the kitty pet gets more and more terrified. I want to live in this nice, soft place, actually, thinks all of the sad, wet cats upon seeing their first blanket. And thanks to Graystripe's vocabulary lesson, Warrior Cats has its first and last understandable two-leg stuffed scene while they save the kitty pet from the sinking tub. The kitty pet is Minty, who thanks them for saving her and then calls them weird.
Staying with us will be hard, says Bramblestar.
Don't worry, I go outside, says Minty before struggling to jump on top of a fence. Everyone crowds around them to bully Minty for being a worthless kitty pet and a hypothetical burden the second they get back. Luckily, the apprentices have always wanted a cat. Rowan Claw stops by on his way to the moon pool after ShadowClan lost Blackstar's skeleton in the flood. Jayfeather decides to become old. After meeting Briarlight, Minty decides to switch doctors to the feral cat in the woods. They go outside to try and find food, but instead they find the big memory stick. Bramblestar and Poppyfrost quickly shoo the apprentices away from it so they don't need to worry about that thing anymore. Seedpaw says they should hunt outside their borders in the back. Bramblestar thinks Seedpaw is a genius, actually. Bumblestripe flirts with Dovewing, but she brushes him off. This makes Bramblestar sad, considering his entire hobby right now is getting involved in other people's relationships. Then Squirrelflight stops Bramblestar from going on a 14th patrol today, and they both grumble at each other for a while. Jayfeather steps on a sharp stick and decides it's a sign that they shouldn't actually go through with Seedpaw's outer territory idea. Thornclaw picks up Jayfeather and throws him away. Can we help with anything? Asks Lilypaw and Seedpaw.
No, go away, responds Dustpelt.
Lilypaw and Seedpaw go away. Suddenly, the stick that got Jayfeather has now also drawn blood from Leafpool. Bramblestar decides this must mean where Lilypaw and Seedpaw went was to retrieve the very important but not actually that important memory stick. Both apprentices are now drowning. He pulls Lilypaw out of the water and yells at her until she wakes up. Unfortunately, Seedpaw is now Poseidon's cat. Briarlight needs to sit on something dry so that she stops getting sore. Let's take the blankets from up the staircase, through the window, in the house, says Dovewing. Graystripe feels regret. They find the blankets and Poppyfrost immediately starts making biscuits.
They killed sheep to make these, says Bramblestar, wrongly.
They pile the blanket into a bin and sloppily drag it back to ThunderClan, but then they get stopped on their way by meeting more kitty pets.
Do you need help? Asks Bramblestar.
Die, responds Jessie the second kitty pet.
Hot, thinks Bramblestar.
They help anyways and free Frankie the third kitty pet from the tadpole basement. As soon as they get free, ShadowClan's kitty pet murdering alarm goes off and everybody needs to hide. But instead of following them, the ShadowClan cat's AI breaks and they all clip into the landscape. God, that kitty pet is so attractive, thinks Bramblestar about the cat he met 2 minutes ago. Squirrelflight is not happy about there being more cats to take care of.
Oh, so you want them to die, huh?
Responds Bramblestar. No, I guess not. Squirrelflight changes the subject to how much time he wasted getting a wet blanket.
I'm stealing your husband, wench, interrupts Jessie.
Squirrelflight dissolves.
What? It was a Shakespeare reference or something. So how about those Mets?
Bramblestar takes Jessie on a date immediately. They frolic. Then Bramblestar starts talking about how much better warrior cats are than kitty pets, and Jessie punches him across the forest.
Wait, Firestar, let me tell you about Firestar,
says Bramblestar desperately.
Oh, he sounds cool, responds Jessie, putting away her weapons.
Bramblestar waits to tell Squirrelflight about invading WindClan cats, so she also punches him across the forest. On patrol, Snowpaw teaches Jessie about their religion.
Wait, are you guys a cult?
Asks Jessie. Yes, responds Snowpaw. There is now a bridge across the stream to WindClan. Oh, that is bad, says everyone. They watch Squirrelflight beat up Hairspring from the bushes and then absorb her patrol into a bridge-destroying mission. Bramblestar is grabbed and pulled underwater, but it's just Firestar. "I'm proud of you, son," says Firestar. "Also, check out this guy bleeding on the ground." Should I worry about that?" "Believe in yourself," says Firestar. "Always be true to yourself. Never forget who you are. When water meets blood, blood will rise." Wait, clarification on that last bit. Firestar logs off. They take the kitty pets hunting. "Maybe you should have Ivypool do this," says Dovewing, teaching the kitty pets to hunt. "I'm no good if I can't even listen to what's happening 14 miles away anymore." Dovewing then does 10 backflips. Minty catches a stick. Jessie catches a bear. Tawny Pelt appears. "ShadowClan is suffering. Also, what is wrong with you? Why are there kitty pets here?" "Wow, you're terrible," says Jessie, making Bramblestar uncomfortable. Cinderheart and Lionblaze might have babies, but Bramblestar doesn't want slightly damp kittens. He only wants dry kittens. He goes over to ShadowClan to just double-check that they're not starving and dying. "Go away. Besides Leafpool," says ShadowClan. ThunderClan has lost one Leafpool. Lionblaze and Jayfeather beat each other up. "How cute," thinks Bramblestar. Seems you like it here. In the woods," says Jessie. "Yeah," says Bramblestar. "Anyways, let's go beat up the kitty pets near ShadowClan." "Amazing idea." He announces this to the clan and everyone yells at him. "Actually, he's right," says Squirrelflight. "Oh, okay, sure," says the clan, running off to murder some kitty pets that aren't their problem. Then they get beat up by buff kitty pets named Webster until Rowenstar shows up and starts yelling at them. Everyone goes home and cries, including Leafpool. "What happened?" asks Squirrelflight. "Kitty pet's strong," says Bramblestar. Then Purdy starts telling Bramblestar a vaguely interesting story about kitty pet revenge, and Bramblestar stops listening to him. "I was reading that, Bramblestar." Minty is practicing finding small animals in the woods, but somehow manages to screw that up and find a fox instead. "Oopsie," says Minty, while the fox attacks Bramblestar. While discussing large animal punching techniques with Jessie, Squirrelflight appears. "I remember large animal," says Squirrelflight. "I remember Squirrelflight," thinks Bramblestar. Squirrelflight looks at Jessie and leaves. All of a sudden, nobody can find Frankie. Never mind, he's back. "The kitty pets will go home soon," says Squirrelflight. "They can hunt now," says Bramblestar. "Say goodbye to the kitty pets, Bramblestar." WindClan calls them mean words from across the stream now that they no longer have a bridge. All of a sudden, nobody can find Frankie or Minty. They wait for a minute. Okay, they're actually gone. Bramblestar takes off to find his kitty pets. Alone, Bramblestar thinks of Hollyleaf. Minty is located being warm in the sun. Frankie is forgotten. Frankie goes missing 14 more times, and Bramblestar starts to get suspicious that he's some sort of double agent. They visit the old camp, and it's a total mess that needs repairing. Dustpelt instantly goes from depressed to never been happier. Bramblestar follows Frankie out to discover what he's been up to. Frankie looks inside every house one by one and screams, "Benny!" at the top of his lungs. Typical spy behavior, thinks Bramblestar. Bramblestar helps Frankie to find his brother's disgusting corpse in a wildly graphic and descriptive scene. They then carry the nasty old body into the woods and bury it. "Is my brother going to hell?" asks Frankie. Maybe not. Look, the sky," says Bramblestar while thinking yes. Frankie doesn't know what to do with himself, and Bramblestar is not letting him go back to Two-Leg Place now that they've been traumatized together. Bramblestar inspects large animal smell outside, but before they find it, Amberpaw gets locked into a chess match. Jessie is revealed to be a secret chess expert and saves her life. Instead of killing her opponent as chess law dictates, Jessie spares her because she is a mother. "I love babies and children, that's a new Jessie fact for you," she tells Bramblestar. Bumblestripe leads Bramblestar to the tunnels where Dovewing is trying to relearn how to have superpowers. "Stop that," says Bramblestar. They're there? Bramblestar asks Jessie to go on a date with him after he's done checking out ShadowClan smells. "Are you going out with Jessie now?" asks Graystripe. "I don't know what you're talking about," lies Bramblestar. They get to the smells, and there's just tons and tons of blood everywhere. Tawnypelt teleports behind him. "Hey, remember when you helped us and then Rowenstar got mad at you? Can you do that again, but this time fight creatures twice the size of cats?" "Oh, yeah, of course. Also, isn't Rowenstar, like, your husband or something?" "Probably. I forgot." Bramblestar tries to dream about Firestar for advice, but gets Yellowfang. She covers him in blood, so he wakes up to talk to Jayfeather instead. "Oh, hey, Bramblestar. Are you cheating on Squirrelflight?" asks Jayfeather. "We haven't been together since Power of 3. Please just help me with this prophecy, son. I am so tired." Jayfeather prints out a prophecy guide on the internet and sends Bramblestar back to bed. The next day, Bramblestar gathers up all the old people and tells them that he wants to beat up ShadowClan's badgers for them. "No," says everyone. Bramblestar doesn't respond. "You're not listening, are you?" "Nope." "Huh.
Maybe I am still married to Squirrelflight, thinks Bramblestar, seeing a Squirrelflight. He walks up to the top of High Ledge and tells everyone that it's time to kill badgers for ShadowClan. They throw trash at him. Daisy calls him her least favorite son. Leafpool shows up. Hey Bramblestar, can you tell Cinderheart she can't fight badgers for me? You know, like how Cinderpelt died horribly to badgers? No, why would I do that? I don't know. Bye. The night before the badger fight, Lionblaze gets Bramblestar alone and tells him that Cinderheart is in fact having babies. This is the best thing Bramblestar has ever heard in his entire life. He is filled with joy. I am going to be a father. Don't you mean grandfather? We don't know that word for some reason, Lionblaze. Oh, yeah, right. I'm going to become father too. This has become a good enough reason to tell Cinderheart not to go to war. Cinderheart tells him she hopes he goes bald. Everyone has gotten hyped up enough now that they actually want to go fight badgers, especially Jessie, who has been looking for a good excuse to beat up animals in the forest for years. They nervously wait for ShadowClan to come and start a badger fight. Do you think the cute guys in ShadowClan are okay? Asks Dovewing. Yeah, says Bramblestar. The cute guys will be here any minute now. Instead of cute guys, however, they mostly just see a million badgers. Oh my god! Yells arriving Rowenstar. Go away! No! Bramblestar yells back. They keep screaming like this back and forth as everyone else fights the badgers. A badger is making biscuits out of poppy frost, so Bramblestar turns to save her and falls off a cliff into a ditch. Suddenly, Squirrelflight is in the ditch too, making battle commentary. They start having a moment instead of fighting badgers. Over the course of the battle, Jessie invents 12 new badger fighting techniques. Frankie helps. Tawny Pelt is about to die of badgers when Squirrelflight jumps on one and squishes it flat. Thanks but you, says Tawny Pelt. Dovewing and Tigerheart use team fighting moves you only learn after dating for 3 months, concerning both Bramblestar and Bumblestripe. Just when it seems like the fight is over, the sea decides that it's fighting too. I thought we dropped this joke like 10 minutes ago, says Bramblestar, but unexpectedly, it has defeated the badgers for them. Unfortunately, Dustpelt is dying of badgers now. We can get you help, says Bramblestar. Pff, no. I'm gonna go see my wife, says Dustpelt, dropping dead as fast as possible. Dustpelt's 17 dead children float down from heaven to drag his soul out of his body. Somehow, nobody comments on this. Thanks, bro, says Tawny Pelt. This is what the prophecy was about, says Bramblestar. Okay, please go home, says Rowenstar. Now that the soup is gone, everyone moves back home. Firestar comes to Bramblestar in his dreams and complains about how nobody but him understands that all 5 clans need to work together. 5? Asks Bramblestar. Yeah, SkyClan. SkyClan from 2007? Did I seriously not tell anyone about SkyClan? Crud. Ask Sandstorm. Bramblestar asks Sandstorm. Sandstorm starts reading Firestar's quest. While everyone is repairing camp, Squirrelflight tells Bramblestar that he can date Jessie, by the way. It's fine, actually. Please date Jessie. Please. I'm begging you. Bramblestar thinks of Hollyleaf. Hollyleaf, he says. Hollyleaf? Says Squirrelflight as well. Unfortunately, it's too late and they're now having a moment. Rosepetal runs as fast as possible to tell Blossomfall that Dovewing and Bumblestripe broke up. Blossomfall implies that Dovewing isn't neurotypical enough to date Bumblestripe anyways. Rosepetal thinks she has a chance. Bramblestar makes Lilypaw a Lilyheart to celebrate her being really good at punching badgers and having a dead sister. Before he can end the announcement, Graystripe and Sandstorm retire. He tries to end it again, but then Frankie starts talking. Hey, can I join ThunderClan? Asks Frankie. Bramblestar renames him Stormpaw, in honor of Bramblestar's storm, and then he apprentices the adult man to Squirrelflight. Minty steps up next. Can I please go home instead, please? This place is terrible. Jessie stares blankly instead of participating. As it turns out, Minty specifically was extremely popular and everyone loves her. Cherryfall flirts with Stormpaw. They are going to have babies, says Bramblestar, incredibly wrong considering Frankie has been ThunderClan's most eligible bachelor for the past decade with no kittens in sight. Then Bramblestar thinks of wife. Jessie appears. I am leaving forever now. I know you are thinking of wife. I'm divorced. I hate divorce. Oh, okay, you could still stay here, though. No, I only want to be in a cult if I'm the leader. Okay, understandable. Then he leaves and tells Squirrelflight that he likes Squirrelflight. This is because Jessie left, isn't it? Yeah, says Bramblestar. And then they kiss. At the gathering, the clans talk about all the various things they do to remember dead people. This makes all the cats sad, so ghosts show up to make them feel better and dance around. Firestar shows up in the middle of all the ghosts and tells Bramblestar not to kick out SkyClan again. This makes Bramblestar decide to change the warrior code so that everybody needs to be friends now. What the hell is a SkyClan? Says everyone. P.S. Squirrelflight is pregnant.